Hello again. Our workshop this week was about motivation and what to do when things go wrong. A lot of us, well certainly me and a number of the people in our training group, find it difficult to maintain consistency if there's some sort of even a minor hiccup in the training or in the routine, because we all like to maintain some sort of stability in life. And of course these meetings, these workshops that we have, they usually promote quite a lot of discussion, and it got everyone thinking, and it got me thinking that things are never stable. The seasons are changing and our response to daylight and all these other factors. It might seem a bit weird to think of things in that way, but because everything's changing, the weather's getting warmer or colder, every day is different, our body responds in different ways, and therefore we're never in a stable condition. We're either always getting a bit fitter or a bit less fit. Each day we're getting a bit more tired or a bit less tired, recovering a bit or becoming more and more fatigued. And I found that quite a revelation, that because everything's changing, we can't expect to stay in a routine forever. We get this training routine, we build fitness, then we have to change things to create a slightly different stimulus to continue to build fitness. And then at the end of the season, or once our big main event is finished, then we take stock, have a bit of time off for recovery, and then look to something else. So these things that happen, these changes, these hiccups, these disruptions, these hurdles that we have to get over, or major blockers that we have to work our way around or wait until they dissipate, are normal and to be expected. And it's what we do when these happen that's important. One of the things that Claire and I like is Steve Peters' model, the chimp paradox, in that we have an emotional side and a human, a logical side, the emotional side being the chimp side and the logical side being the human side. These sides of our personality or our makeup are working together or against each other at any given time. And it's this emotional side, this chimp side, that often takes over when things go wrong, whether that's in a long ride, an event, or in a training session, or in a longer period of time, like a few weeks, or something happens on a given day, then your whole training's disrupted, and we think, oh well, I've had to have a few days off because I got a cold, or I got ill, or I got injured, and therefore I may as well just stop completely. And some of us actually do stop completely for a long period of time until we can get out of that problem. Or in an event, if something goes wrong, you get a puncture or a mechanical problem, or some sort of physical problem where you're getting sore, or you get ill, or you get sick, then you might think, oh, I've got to stop because I can't continue. But these things are very rarely black and white. There are often shades of grey within every situation. So having some mechanism to step back and make a human, logical, objective decision is a really useful technique to develop or to cultivate. Claire's presentation included a helicopter. She likes to use the helicopter view with some of her clients. So if you're too close to a situation, imagine what it would be like to get in a helicopter and view it from above, or view it from an external point of view. You can then be a little bit more objective. Or ask yourself, your objective self, imagine asking yourself what advice you would give to yourself if you were in that situation. That can work quite effectively. It's surprisingly how effective that can be. I quite like the technique that Scott Jurek used in his book Eat and Run, or the technique that Scott Jurek uses, but he describes it in his book Eat and Run, which is quite a good book and worth a read, particularly if you're a vegan, because he's vegan in it. He talks about his diet includes recipes and all sorts of other things. And his technique is that he allows himself to panic, because it's normal to panic if something goes wrong. Like, I remember one aspect of it is he twists his ankle in a really rocky section in a big and ultra distance race in America, and he's not sure whether he's going to be able to continue. So he lets himself panic, and then once he's sort of calmed down a bit and he can be more objective about it, he decides what to do. He forms a plan and moves forward. And in many of these events that he describes, he's successfully completing the events, well, and winning the events after a major disruption. And that's because he's allowing his emotional side, his chimp, to overwhelm him for a period of time until it gets tired, and then he can calm down and make an objective plan. And Steve Peters has a similar thing. He's accept it's normal to panic, and then move forward with a plan. And it's no good to just try and move forward. You've got to create some sort of plan, otherwise things will just go, think your emotions will take over again. But if you've got a plan and say, well, when your emotions start to take over, you think, well, actually I've thought this through and I believe this is going to work. I believe in it. So I'm going to keep going with it until it doesn't work. And then how we maintain motivation, what we use as a longer term goal to keep us on track and have something to work towards is also quite important. Creating some goals that you know you're working towards, that you know you want to do, that you've agreed with both your emotional side and your human side is really important. And this is something I struggled with a few weeks ago. And I'm a bit sort of nerdy. I quite like numbers. I quite like emotions as well. So what I did is I made a Google Sheet and I scored the various aspects of my cycling. I'm trying to do endurance cycling events. In that way I created an objective view of things that I thought were important to me, and I was able to sort of resolve the emotional and objective sides of what I'm trying to achieve. And there was quite a few revelations, but it gave me a much more clear understanding of what I'm trying to do and why I'm trying to do it. Because the reasons that we work towards certain goals can change over time. When I was younger, I was trying to win races. I was a runner, mountain runner, hill runner, and I wanted to win. I didn't win very often, but I did win now and again. And that was my goal. I was just trying to get better at doing these things because I wanted to, perform better. I wanted people to think I was good at what I did and all these other things, egotistical things, as well as human and self-developmental types of things. Whereas nowadays, a lot of my goals are there to provide a focus for building my fitness, for a healthy life. And to some extent, it doesn't really matter too much what their goals are, as long as they're something for me to work towards and something that promote a healthy lifestyle, a healthy mental and physical lifestyle. And I think that's the case increasingly with the way people view sport and view sporting challenges. And certainly I believe that's the case with a lot of the people that watch this channel and a lot of the people that we work with. And actually having a healthy approach to sport and longevity within the sport so that you can keep doing it for a much longer time is becoming increasingly important, an increasingly important focus of our coaching work and our groups, our training groups. Of course, here's the sales pitch. If you want to work with us, we'd love to work with you. We have a really good training group. In this workshop, we had an hour-long workshop on motivation, what to do if things go wrong, and that's all recorded for people within the group to watch. So even being part of this community, or part of a community, it might be a Strava club. You could join our Strava club if you want, that's free to join. Or having a community of friends, physical friends where you meet physically from time to time to go training with or do events with, or on the internet groups like our EBR club or Facebook club and things like that help each other and help each other work together and maintain motivation when things go a bit wrong. Can be a really useful and effective way. It's certainly something that I was quite surprised at when we started working as a group, that I've developed some quite meaningful relationships with some of the people, like the Zwift rides that we have in the morning. We don't meet up physically. In fact, we've only ever met once physically, but over the last couple of years, we've been riding together once or twice a week, and therefore got to know each other, and it's really motivating to have that. And some days I might be going to miss a training session, but I actually go ahead because I want to. It's easy to meet the people, get the training done, and because I've got an appointment to make, I turn up and do it because I don't want to disappoint. And also I don't want to lose fitness because I've got this group of people that I'm working with and enjoying my relationships with. And I feel that that's the same for me as a sort of one of the leaders of the group, me and Claire leading the group, and also the people that are members of the group. I'd be interested to know what your motivations are, what you do if things go wrong, either in an event or in a longer term process in a plan. It might be over a series of months as you're training towards an event. If something goes wrong, what do you do to get back on track, and how do you stay on track when you maybe don't want to get out training, or you might have something else that you feel might be more important to do? How do you keep things in perspective? Okay, hope it helps. Hope you decide to get in touch and join in with the community, whether that's informally or more formally in a coaching plan or with our group. And I'll see you next time. Bye.